Okay, read a new ibarat. Bismillah. Everything is right here, ne? Okay, so just where you reading from? ولا يجوز مسح الجوربين إن أبي حنيفة. We done that, ne? Before that. Okay, just go back to this one here. Go back to this here. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. ولا يجوز المسح على الجوربين. Read from there. Yeah, it's about 4 lines back. Just 4 lines back. I just want to explain that again, inshallah. Muna alayni. Yeah. You got Muna alayni in your kitab. Okay, fine, fine. Okay, so Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I know we did touch upon this yesterday, but I just want to explain. I'll explain on this one here. So look here, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Take your regular cotton socks. What is saying? Follow nicely. ولا يجوز المس على الجوربين عند أبي حنيفة. According to Abu Hanifa, follow what is saying in the Ibarat nicely. That masa is not permissible on any cotton socks. Just take jawrabain here to mean, just say any, now, if you go back in time, remember now in previous time, either the sock was leather or it was like wool or cotton or something, right? So yeah, jawrabain refer to anything which is non-leather. Like today, you get plastic, you get rubber, you get like how we have this socks, seal socks. Just forget all of that existed for a moment. For a moment, just forget all of that existed or existed. Just think about a leather hoof, like how the original leather hoof that our Jamaat brothers they wear. Think about that and just think. I'm gonna explain everything. I'll put everything in perspective for you now, but I just need you to follow what I'm saying for the moment. Forget about the new type of materials, leather, not leather, sorry, plastic, rubber. Forget all of that. Just think in previous times where you had a leather hoof and you had either like a cotton or wool hoof, right? Just think about that. Now follow nicely. ولا يجوز المس على الجوربين عند أبي حنيفة. Right. So masa is not permissible. So jawrabain here, think about anything non-leather. So you're talking about a regular wool sock or a regular cotton sock, right? In Abi Hanifata, according to Imam Abu Hanifa, right? إلا أن يكونا مجلدين أو منعلين, except that this cotton sock has got leather soles sewn onto the bottom and leather uppers on it, right? Then, right, waqala, right now, Simon yajuzu, they say, look, if, so in simple words, what he's saying is, if the cotton sock or if the wool sock, it has the same properties, the same characteristics of a leather sock, then it will be good enough. So you see, waqala yajuzu idha kana sakhinaini. They say it will be permissible if this non-leather sock is thick. La yashifani. What you got in your kitab? I would like to know what you got there. La yashifani. So you can say la yashifani means it does not draw the water. The water does not go through it. You can say like this, it is not porous. So in other words, it's not, so Simon saying, yes, fine, you can use a non-leather sock, you can use a woolen sock, you can use a cotton sock. Two things, it must be very thick, right? And la yashifani, it does not allow the water to go through. It is not porous, right? Follow nicely what Simon is saying. So you can use a non-leather sock as long as what? It is thick and it is non-porous. And here in the Shara, they explain non-porous. When you make masa, the water mustn't go through it, right? You make masa, it's thick enough to stop the water from going. So then you got one condition so far, right? And what are the proof? They say lima ruya because what has been narrated, and then Nabi alayhi salam that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam masaha ala jawrabaini, he made masa upon non-leather socks, right? This so right lima ruya. They say wali annahu, that's the first reason. That is the dalile naqli, the textual evidence. Then they're going to give their dalil aqli. ولأنه يمكنه المشي فيه إذا كان سخينا. Then they say, look here, if it is a thick sock, now I don't know if you ever seen, you get hiking socks today. Don't think, don't think still about the new Reef socks. I tell you for a moment, forget about that, right? You saw hiking socks, they're pretty thick, né? They're very thick. They're supposed to protect your feet while you walk in the mountains, etc. So they say, so Simon says, وَلِأَنَّ يُمْكِنُ الْمَشْيُ فِيهِ, that walking in it is possible. If you take a thick, like I see you got pretty thick socks there on today, you can walk with that sock even on a rough terrain. ولأن يمكن المشي فيه إذا كان سخينا, when it is thick. And also, when it is very, very thick, right? وهو أن يتمسك على الساق من غير أن يربط بشيء. This is also, the thick sock is that it it stands up upon the sack, right? It stands on your sack min ghairi, without being tied up with anything. So it resembles the ashbah al-khuffa. So even though it is not a leather sock, but it has all the characteristics of a leather sock. Are you with me? So you say here, so you say what I say here, this here, wahua. Look at this here. I want you to remember this here. Um, wahua ayata masaka. They say here, according to the Asha, what refer to being, you can return it to sakhinain. Return it to sakhinain. See there, إذا كان سخينين لا يشفاني. Follow that nicely. Luqman, see this here. وهو أيتمسك. Luqman, وهو أيت is the expression of sakhinain. Understood that? So when we say it is sick and you can walk with it, what does it mean? وهو أيتمسك. I showed you my sock. It can stand up. The shin part stand on its own. وهو أيتمسك. It stands up على الساق, upon the shin, من غير أن يربط بشيء, without it being tied with anything. فأشبه الخفة. So it resembles the khuf in the sense that it is thick. You can walk with it for a good distance without it perishing, without it fraying, and it stands on your shin without falling down. So they're saying, because it is not a khuf, the khuf in any way, hence it will have the same hukum of a khuf. Imam Warifa says, look here, I hear what you're saying. It resembles the khuf. وَلَهُ أَنَّهُ لَيْسَ فِي مَعْنَى الْخُفِّ. It has all the qualities of a khuf, but it is not a khuf. It is not a khuf, right? وَلَهُ أَنَّهُ لَيْسَ فِي مَعْنَى الْخُفِّ. And what he's saying, لأنه لا يمكن مواظبة المشي فيه, because continuous walking is not possible in it. Because he's saying the footpath will perish. إلا إذا كان منعلا. So he's saying generally it will perish. Yes, if you got a leather sole, it will not perish. Then it's fine. وهو محمل الحديث. And he's saying this is محمل الحديث, the understanding of the hadith that Nabi Sallallahu made on a jawrabain when it did not have a leather sock. The interesting thing is, now, just the last point in time, just remember this here, that the opinion of Imam Abu Sahibain was, even though it's not a leather sock, but it is thick, it will stand on your shin, it will not fall off, it is not porous. By making masa or some water falling on it, it won't simply, what's the right word, penetrate it, right? Then it is just as good as a leather sock. Imam Wanifa say no, even though it has qualities, but it is not a leather sock. A leather sock is something which has a leather sole, which we can walk for a long distance, right? So there is the difference, the ikhtilaf between Sahib and Imam Hanifa. But interesting, وعنه. Also Imam Hanifa narrated from أنه رجع إلى قولهما, mentioned here in the Shara is a very interesting thing mentioned that a few days before he passed away, very interesting mentioned here, a few days before Imam Hanifa passed away, he made masa on a similar stock like this, a thick cotton or wool sock, and he said, فَعَلْتُ مَا كُنْتُ أَمْنَعُ النَّاسُ عَنْهُ, I done now, which I used to prohibited the people from doing. So that means his ruju is tabit. Imam Hanifa retracted. What he done? He retracted from his original opinion and he went on to the opinion of Sahibain. Now, it's interesting thing which I mentioned to you before also, that generally in the Kitab Taharat, the fatwa is on whose opinion, Luqman? Imam Abu Hanifa. Most of the time, the fatwa is on Imam Hanifa. So here there is ruju that Imam Hanifa retracted to the opinion of Sahibain, and the fatwa is on it. Right now, I was telling you that before we moving, although we're still in this chapter here now, but we're moving away from this masa. We're moving to another chapter within this chapter here. So I would just want to tie in for you the discussion of nowadays we have this new socks, which it is not leather hoof, but it has the same qualities, right? Are you with me? So you get this reef socks, you get this heel skin socks, etc., etc. So the bottom line is this: that if these qualities, even though the original madhab of Imam Hanifa was that it must be of a khuf nature, it must be of a leather nature. But there you see that Imam Sahibain said it doesn't have to be of a leather material, even though if it is uh, not leather, but it has the qualities, the propensities of a khuf, it will be permissible. And eventually the fatwa of the Hanafi madhab was given on this. Hence, we say today, if you got a seal, what they call seal skin socks, or that what the other one they call the seal skin socks, and whatever, not sure about the brand, but any sock that have these qualities, it will also be permissible to make masa, because this was the fatwa of Sahibain, which Imam Abu Hanifa made ruju to. So I just want to read out one fatwa of Marhum, my Ustad Mufti Ibrahim Desai. He says, what is your view regarding make masa on seal skin socks? Do they fulfill the Shari requirement of masa? Answer, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, Assalamu alaikum. So listen to this now. I told you this is the same thing. That he's saying that, look here, Sahih Bain's call that if it has the qualities of the three khuf, then you can make masa. And Imam Hanifa made ruju. He retracted from his previous view and he came to this view. So here you got it in English. In order for permissible to wipe a non-leather sock, it is imperative to fulfill all the conditions of the leather sock. There you got it. So even though if it's a non-leather sock, but if it has the condition of the leather sock, it will be fine. So he's saying, after thoroughly studying the inherent qualities of leather socks, our ulama, so this is interesting here now. See, it is only Thabit that Nabi Sallallahu made wudu on leather socks, right? Most of the time he made on leather socks. It is not Thabit that he made wudu on normal what you say, normal cotton socks, right? So ulama saw that he made a masa on leather socks. So they looked at what the qualities of the leather socks were, and they said wherever these qualities of the leather socks are found, then it will also be permissible to make masa on those socks. Are you with me? So that's what he's saying. After thoroughly studying the qualities of leather socks, our illustrious fuqaha suggests that non-leather socks should resemble leather socks in the following. So also here you got now the broad principles. Any sock, you see, so all the time you see people are messaging all the time that this new sock is on the market, this name and that name, Masa or Sealskin or Yeah, that's the name I was looking for. Reef socks, whatever. So if you understand, inshallah, these 4, 5 basic principles, you'll be able to unravel the masail on your own. You can be your own mufti. You can be your own mufti. I just understand nicely what you're saying. Then you'll know. The first thing is they should cover till the ankles. That we understand from, although it's not mentioned here in the kitab, but we understand it from the hadith that the socks Nabi Sam wore would cover till the ankles. Then the next is they should be durable enough that a person can work with a sock 3 miles without tearing. So the second thing is it must be like your own normal sock. If you look at my sock I'm wearing or your sock, forget about rough terrain. If you to work here outside even on a normal asphalt road, it will perish after a while. So the next thing is you can see from the time of Nabi Sallallahu some time of Sahaba Ikram, they were able to walk for a good duration, 3 miles with it. Both, this we discussed in the kitab, both stocks should independently be free from holes to the extent of 3 small toes. We discussed this. Your leather sock mustn't have such a hole that 3 small toes can peep out of it. 3 small toes can come out of it. There's a second quality. Then the sock should remain on the leg without being tied or fastened. The sock will be such a robust, such a durable nature that the shin part can stand up on its own without being strapped up or without being elasticized. So you see, when you put your hook on, you see, without even tying the thing up, you see the sock part will stand up, right? Then the next one, which we learn also, is that they should be such that water does not seep through them. Water does not seep through them. Right, so that is the next. So inshallah, anybody come to you with any sock, they want to know Mufti, Muftiya, whatever, Maulana, Apa, can we make masa on these socks there? Inshallah, if you have understood these 4 conditions, these 5 conditions properly, thoroughly, you will be able to, inshallah, understand the permissibility of making masa on any sock. I told you also that one of our satis, he was 2 years ahead of us, Madrasa Talimuddin. He wrote the whole book proving the Hanafi point of view that, he tried to bring nuqul, tried to bring proof from the Sunnah and also the statements of the Sahaba Ikram, etc., proving each one of these conditions. So I hope that is clear enough. I hope everybody understood that. If they have any questions on that, then they can um, ask us, inshallah. Okay, read the next one. You got imamati or amamati? Imamati. Okay, so now uh, the next masala saying it's not permissible to make masa on your turban, on right on your topi and your gloves. There is a riwayat which outwardly seems that Nabi also made masa on his turban. He said, "Ja'a subatata qawmin famasaha ala imamatihi." He made masa upon his forehead. But our ulama obviously interpreted that to mean that he made masa, like how he said one, masa ala nasiyatihi, he made masa upon his forehead. So we know obviously you don't make masa on the forehead. So ulama have interpreted he made masa on his head to the extent of his forehead. So like that, we also interpret those hadiths to mean that no, he made masa under his what you call it, under his turban, etc., etc. Why? Because obviously, what is the lamb that needs to be washed? What is the lamb that you need to make masa upon? You need to make masa upon your head, not on the what you call. I see here also Sahib Hidayah. He never bring too much dalil here. He just trying sometimes Sahib Hidayah sits on the side. He go into detail. He mentions all the proofs and he mentions the ikhtilaf strange. Yeah, I find it a bit strange to say Bidayah. He never mentions the ikhtilaf because I think it is a Maliki mazhab or one of the other mazahib that permits making masa upon your turban. But as I said, strange. Sometimes he went into detail. He mentioned ikhtilaf of the other mazahib. Sometimes never. Allah Ta'ala knows best. Maybe it was the interest of brevity. But anyway, so the Hanafi mazhab, ولا يجوز المسح على إمامتي. In the Hanafi mazhab, you'll have to make masa upon your head. So the ladies, maybe sometimes they're in public spaces or something, so they can't just make masa upon the scarf or upon the burqa. Yes, maybe if the scarf and the burqa is so like how we done masa is of such a porous nature, yashifani, by putting water on the top of the burqa, it will go. and touch their hair. So in a public space, they'll have to put their hand under their burqa, under the scarf, and make while al qalan the man also he'll have to take his topi, his qalan means any headgear, whether it's a topi, whether it's a turban, wal burqa'i, the ladies the burqa, wal quffazaini, and also the gloves you'll have to remove them. Unfortunately, but لأنه لا حرج في نزع هذه الأشياء because there's no difficulty to remove the stuff, right? ورخصة لدفع الحرج. Yes, with regards to the khuf, obviously we got textual evidence. We got evidence from the Sharia that Nabi Sallallahu done it. That's one. That's the logical reason, and sorry, there's a textual reason, and the logical reason is like just put your hand under your topi to remove your topi for the ladies to put their hand under the burqa in the public space or in the house they don't have their burqa on, etc. For them to make massage, no, there's no difficulty. The whole idea about the khuf was to remove some type of difficulty. Maybe winter, very, very cold, you're traveling, it's difficult to wash your feet. Sometimes you're old, it's difficult to bend. And also, yeah, while we're discussing this here now, a lot of times people also ask this question, like somebody is very, very old and they have difficulty to make wudu, they don't have anybody to help them. So one of the ways to overcome this difficulty for an old person also is this here. What you do, you get somebody to help wash the feet in the beginning of the day and then wear the khuf. And for the rest of the day, it's very, very easy. And all you have to do is to make masa on the khuf. Or maybe Allah Ta'ala protect us if you're going to hospital or whatever. So maybe you get someone to help you at the beginning of the day to make wash your feet. Once you put your khuf in and for the rest of the day, it's easy. You just to make masa, right? So it's also a, a way of making it easy for a person who's experiencing some type of difficulty. So anyway, there they're saying there's no difficulty in removing your top, etc. While there is difficulty in washing your feet, you have to bend down, it's cold, certain places cold, etc. The next masala is also very, very relevant and very interesting. Okay, let's try to finish it on up also. Okay, so the next masala entails making masa upon a bed. Times you got like when we were small, you used to have this plaster of Paris, although they don't have the plaster of Paris nowadays. Or maybe some you got a deep cut, and uh, the, the bandage off every time. It will be really difficult. If you take the bandage off, you have to wash all the medicine away. You need a medicine there. It will delay the healing process, or it will really burn, whatever. So you got maybe ash or something. So one is I told you, what the paper cut, like you see the small cut here that you're gonna make with wood. It's gonna give you a small burn. We're not speaking about that. That you have to take your plaster off. You have to take your bandage off. Here we see speaking about serious inconvenience where your wound won't be cured, it will be delayed. So you got the bandage on, or it's difficult for you to put on. So ويجوز المسح على الجبائر وإن شدها على غير وضوء. If you had a bandage on, right, and if you had a bandage on, and so normally when you put the hoof on first, you have to make wudu, then you put the hoof on. But now obviously, say when you broke your leg, you're rushed to the hospital or whatever, and they put a plaster of Paris on there. You can't say, wait, I first have to wash my feet, and then I put a plaster of Paris on. That doesn't make sense. So yeah, even if you put the bandage on without washing the feet, once the bandage is on and there's difficulty in removing it, you are allowed to make masa on it, right? So ويجوز المسح على الجبائر وإن شدها على غير وضوء. So masa upon a bandage is permissible. وإن شدها, even though he tied the bandage على غير وضوء, without wudu, لأنه عليه السلام, because Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم فعل ذلك, he done it, وأمر عليا به, and he also instructed Ali to do it. Okay, there's still four lines, Jeff. I was hoping to finish this year because tomorrow there's a new chapter. Tomorrow we'll be doing, inshallah, the chapter of Hayd and Istihada, which is also a very, very important chapter and also a bit of a complicated chapter. So I'm sure the lady folk will be very interested in the chapter of Hayd and Istihada. What do you say, menstrual cycle? So maybe if anybody that be interested also in joining to brush up on the Hayd Masail. So I was hoping to start that tomorrow, finish up here, but I think we never finish. So we'll have to finish this first. It's about just 4 lines or 5 lines of also very important Masail with regards to bandage, which we can benefit from, inshallah. So we'll finish that tomorrow, and then tomorrow's Thursday, nah? And then we just start a chapter on Hayes. So if you know anybody that might be interested in brushing up on the basic Hayes, the side of Hayes, you can let them know, inshallah. We'll be starting that tomorrow. So we'll finish this and start it tomorrow, inshallah. But subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallah wa bihamdika, wa nashhadu an la